What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? After my last video where I recommended that my viewers and my subscribers not to buy this Casio CT-X700 and the Casio CT-X800, I have been getting a lot of hate from trolls who have been writing abusive comments on my videos. I have of course deleted a lot of these comments because I don't want my channel to be filled with hate and abusive comments. And these trolls, because of this opinion that I have given, have gone to pretty much almost all of my videos and starting to give them a thumbs down. So videos that I may have filmed like 2 months ago are now getting thumbs down. To be fair, I was actually excited about the Casio CT-X700. Because both the Casio CT-X700 and the Yamaha PSR-E363 cost less than $200 on Amazon US website. Actually, they both cost less than $180. So they are actually really good value for money. And Casio, because it was gonna have the brand new AIX sound chip, I had hope for it because one of the Achilles heels of Casio is the sound that is produced. The voices don't sound as rich or as exciting, and the rhythms are not as groovy as the one of the Yamaha. As we all know that the quality of the sounds in the keyboard affects the quality of the styles because the styles are programmed using MIDI based on the voices found on the keyboard. However, there are actually 7 things that the Casio CT-X700 actually shines above and beyond the Yamaha PSR-E363, and today I will be going through those 7 things with you. Let's just get started. The first reason the Casio CT-X700 is better than the PSR-E363 is the screen. The screen is bigger than the screen on the PSR-E363. It is also white in color versus the orange color screen of the PSR-E363. This screen shows more information and is clearer. And as you can see here, I have already loaded up the function. The contrast on this Casio screen can be adjusted to suit the different sunlight ends. The PSR-E363 screen, on the other hand, is looking its age. Has been a while since Yamaha has been using this orange looking colored screen for its lower end model. Although the text is big, but the screen is smaller and it doesn't show as much information. There is also no contrast setting to adjust the readability of this screen, especially in sunlight or if you are under a lamp in a room. The second thing I like about the Casio CT-X700 is the registration bangs and the buttons. Here, the Casio has more registration spaces or slots than the Yamaha PSR-E363. Here, the Casio has 8 banks of 4 slots here, so which will give us 32 available slots to store our voice and rhythm settings. I also like it that these buttons are placed right near where middle C is for very easy access. And it is just only takes one single touch of each individual button and recall the registration. The Yamaha PSR-E363, on the other hand, has only 9 slots instead of 32 slots. And to access or recall this registration, you need to take 2 steps. You need to press this registration memory button and the corresponding slot that you want for your registration memory. So this extra step is actually pretty cumbersome if you are trying to play your music with different sounds, especially like you have one set of sounds for the chorus, one set of sound for the ending, and you want to very quickly retrieve the registered voices, and this extra step actually slows it down. The third thing I really like about this Casio CT-X700 is that it has got dedicated buttons for the rhythm intro and dedicated button for the ending. This gives a lot better control as to when you want to key in the intro or hit the ending button during your song. And one of the tricks is you can actually use the intro button in the middle of the song as kind of a little bridge, and I might just show you guys that in a later tutorial. And the 2 variation of the rhythm actually has dedicated buttons as well, and that gives you a lot greater control as to when you want to hit the fill-ins or the variation fill-in, or to switch between the normal rhythm or the variation of the rhythm. The PSR-E363, on the other hand, combines the intro and ending into one single button, and that is actually less flexible because we cannot trigger the intro once a beat is running. And the main style as well as the variation of the style as well as the fills are all inside one button, and that gives lesser control. And this is something which I think the Casio CT-X700 has done much better. The 4th function that I think Casio CT-X700 excels versus the similarly priced PSR-E363 is that the accompaniment left-hand mode has a lot more functions. So we have the Casio Chord, which allows the player to just use 1 or 2 fingers to specify the chord that they want to play. And we've also got fingered 1 and fingered 2, which are basically just variations of fingered chord. I will explain to that in a later video if the opportunity arises. The critical one that is missing on the PSR-E363 is fingered on bass. For example, if you would like to play a G chord with a D bass, right? That is, you want the accompaniment to be playing a G chord and the bass player to be playing a D bass. You cannot do that on a PSR-E363, whereas you can do that on the Casio CT-X700. So this is a critical function if you are trying to take a higher grade on the keyboard exams. If you're trying to take a grade 5 exams, they would actually require you to be able to do fingered on bass, and the PSR-E363 will not be suitable. And there's also a fingered assist mode. The final one that I really like is the full range detection of chords. So if you are playing this as a piano, you can actually have it detect chords based on the keys that you're playing on both hands. So this is usually only found on the higher end models of the PSR series. And as I go through the functions of the PSR-E363, you will find that there's no way to specify different kinds of chord detection modes on the PSR-E363. The 5th function which makes the Casio CT-X700 great value for money is the registration memory freeze button, which I use a lot with my students, especially if they are practicing a song. Let's say you memorize each button here with beats per minute of 100 beats per minute tempo, but when practicing, you want to slow it down to 60 beats per minute. So by holding on to the freeze, you can actually prevent the buttons from switching to 100 beats per minute and just sticking to 60 beats per minute as you scroll through every single button as you're practicing the song. This feature is usually only found on the higher end PSR-S series of keyboard. So it is a welcome change that a keyboard that is so affordable at US dollar $175 has this function. And I hope that Yamaha will bring down this function to the E series as well, because it's really useful for those who are learning as well as for performing as well. The 6th reason that the CT-X700 is great value for money at this price point, features wise at least, is that Casio has included a 6-track sequencer. As you can see here, this is track 1, and we have track 2, track 3, 4, 5, and 6. For those who like to do multi-track recording, a 6-track sequencer is very useful and actually much better than the Yamaha PSR-E363. The Yamaha PSR-E363 has only a 2-track recorder, and that can be quite limiting if you're trying to lay out multiple tracks of recording. The 7th and the last reason why I like the CT-X700 and I think it's great value for money is because there are a lot of electronic piano sounds. You can see that there's a lot of electric piano sounds, and they're actually very usable and really nice if you're playing in a band-based scenario, or if you're trying to sing ballads along with it. It has way much more electric piano sounds than the PSR-E363. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this 7 reasons why I think the CT-X700 is great value for money and is actually better than the PSR-E363, which costs the same. And please be reminded that my channel is family friendly, so there are actually a lot of young subscribers who are taking up keyboard lessons and subscribe to my channel to learn more about the keyboards that they have. To me, I don't care what brand the keyboard is, as long as I have great sounds, great features, reasonable price. To me right now, I think the sweet spot is for keyboards or learner keyboards to not exceed about $350 right now. And I think as every model goes along, we are actually getting more features, greater sounds and samples for a much lower price, as you can see from the introduction of the CT-X700. I am excited to see how Yamaha reacts with the replacement of the PSR-E263 or even the PSR-E363 to gain back some market share from the Casio CT-X range. The Casio range is actually very popular in India, as much as I know, because I do teach quite a number of Indian expats, Indian nationals who come to Singapore to work, and their children learn from me on the Casio keyboard, which they brought along with them. And they have told me that Casio keyboards is very popular in those countries simply because it's usually cheaper and packs in a lot more features. But my personal opinion is that the sounds of the Yamaha keyboards are usually better for the same price range, and the styles are better programmed and with a bit more groove and better kick to it. That's all, folks, for this video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.